What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today you join me on a beautiful evening at the Autobahn with the Corvette Z06. This is an absolute weapon of a car, naturally aspirated, and it is awesome. So today I'm going to show you around it. I'll show you the spec. Sun is setting, so after that we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn, where it should be nice and empty. So, Z06 with license plate as well, super cool. We've got some carbon fiber trim at the front here. The Z06 gets a more aggressive front bumper, and those waspy headlights make it look super aggressive. Wheels, tires and brakes. These are the regular steel brakes. They are not great. The car is quite heavy. Well, depending on options and stuff, it's quite difficult to pinpoint a specific weight, but it's around 1750 kilos, and the brakes can definitely do with an upgrade. There is an upgrade available with some sort of track pack, performance pack. I do recommend going for that if you're looking at a Z06 because it desperately needs them. Also available, a $15,000 option, carbon wheels. If you have the cash, do it, because it is awesome and it is probably also pretty good for your residual values. Around that we've got Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. There's also a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R available, I think, or Cup 2. No, I think it's a Cup 2R. Super aggressive, like a proper semi-slick tire. So if you want the full performance, go for that tire. These are forged wheels though, and this is a 275 tire at the front. Magnerite suspension has been tweaked for the Z06, so stiffer springs, dampers have been changed, bushings, all to make it more stiff, more hard, more hardcore, which has definitely worked. Carbon side skirt there, massive air intake, and the door handle is underneath there, which is very well done. You hit it every time, even though you're not like seeing anything. Right on it, that's really awesome. And then the rear. So we've got zero pressure. What is that? Don't think I've ever seen that on a Michelin. We've got 345 rubber at the rear. Absolutely massive. That is huge. Super crazy. That is a lot of rubber. Very nice rear lights. Quad tailpipe exhaust. And then we've got the engine over there, of course. Let me just open that up. I'll open both of them up. So at the rear, we've got a little spoiler. There is a big wing as well in the track pack, or you can get it separately, I don't know, but I don't think it really looks that good. I do think you can get this in carbon. I think you can get like a smaller carbon spoiler, would be cool. Little window. And then the LT6 5.5 liter V8 naturally aspirated. 645 horsepower in EU spec, 679 horsepower, well PS, so 670 horsepower, 679 PS for the US version, 623 or 24 newton meters of torque. Super cool engine. Basically it's a GM small block, but it is a newly developed, completely ground up design engine, and I don't think it has anything in common with any other GM engine. And it's been built for this version, and then the LT7 is the twin turbo version for the ZR1 with over 1,000 horsepower. It's dual overhead cam, flat plane crank, V8 goodness. It's like they said, okay, we've got a 458 Speciale or a 458, and let's build a US version of that. That's what it feels like to me. It is insane. Super cool engine, 8600 RPM redline, and then peak power is at, I read somewhere 8600 RPM, somewhere else I read 8400 RPM, but it is right up there. Also, I read somewhere that if you buy this car, you can go to the Bowling Green plant in Kentucky, and you can go there and under supervision, you can build your own engine. And then on this plaque, it will say your name, handcrafted by your name. In this case, it's Dale Sherry, but it will be handcrafted by Max, Autobahn, which is super cool. Also, soft close on the rear deck. So if you just click it, super nice. And I think you can also just drop it at the right speed and it will just close up. Also, more space here. soft close. There it goes. Let's remove the roof because we have a targa, of course. So for that we undo these two, and then this one has a button over there. And then we should be able to get it off. And you've got yourself a targa. And then you just get this in here. And then this clicks into place. Like that. See? Closes up. We'll do the first part with the roof off, and then I'll get the roof up for the Autobahn. We've got a driving mode rotary knob here, which is super heavy for some reason. You've got track, sport, tour, and then my mode and wet. And you can see all the different settings there. And then you've got your Z button right there, which is like your sport individual. So hit that. And then I've got PTM set up, performance traction, on race 2, which is ESC off. I hope it's completely off. Otherwise I'm just going to turn it off altogether. And then you also have PDR, which is like performance data recorder, and I've got an SD card in here, so I also made a video with that, which is super cool. You get a video overlay with timing and track overlay, super nice. Okay, Tremec 8-speed door clutch transmission, put that in manual mode. And then we'll get going. So we'll see if traction control's off. Yeah. No horses. Well, 2 horses over there, but no horses over there. It is. There's so much drama. Brake for the horses. All good. Oh, it's very windy. I'm going to put the roof up. You guys have seen it now, you've experienced it. I'm going to put the roof up because otherwise I'm going to have crap audio. So let's see how quickly we can do that. Rear deck open. Get that on there. I think you need to go first on the rear and then click that in. And then you can close that up and that and that. That's pretty damn quick. Anyway, you've got the engine right behind you, so you don't really need, sound-wise, you don't really need it. So, if you hit this special traction control mode, I think you get a more aggressive launch control with a higher RPM. So let me just test that theory. If I go back to performance management off, so that's like performance traction management, PTM, and I'll do another one over here. Oh, but the suspension, the turn-in. I mean, the C8 is already a great driving car, but the Z06 definitely adds to that. Okay, so this is with the PTM off. Yeah, see? So it goes to like 3000 RPM. Oh, it is so settled, it is so solid, it is so confidence inspiring. It is
feels like a Ferrari 458, a Porsche GT3 had a baby. And then they put it in this weird US supercar that Corvette suddenly decided that they wanted to build. And they built like a freaking weapon of a car. Well, this at least, the Z06, and then of course the ZR1 that is even crazier. Oh, absolutely insane. Super quick, crisp shifts from the Tremec gearbox. And the difference is also quite noticeable. So in drive, let me just show you. If you manually shift in drive, it also feels like the shifts are a bit less aggressive. That's 3.2. I think you'll be able to go faster than the 3.1 if you like absolutely nail it. Alright, so we're in track mode suspension. Oh, look at that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Still in manual mode. Okay, so this is pretty bouncy. I'm going to go Z and then suspension sport. Big difference. So fifth gear, we're going to keep that for the top speed, I think. So that's 3, 10, 11, 12, 13, rev limiter, and then it sort of dies down. And it goes down again. So top speed is supposed to be 314. Oh, that is bad timing. That it will do 314 eventually. 100 to 200 I did 7 seconds, which is also pretty quick. But the whole Z mode thing, and you've got that traction control, the performance traction thing over there, and then you've got brakes, engine sound, engine performance, suspension and steering. It works really well. You really have differences in how the car feels, and you know, with suspension and engine and sound it's easy, but the brake and the steering are very well judged, which is great. Yeah, brakes could be better. I mean, yeah, I could just tell you that you need to go for the carbon, but I think the steel brake should have been better as well. But the 8600 RPM red line is something special. Okay, traction or suspension in soft for these bumps here. and I've got 2 more gears. I've got 7 and 8. What is going on with that? Very strange. Let's slow down a little bit. But the driving experience is so good. In the US, this thing is like $110,000 or $120,000, which is mental. In the Netherlands, it's like 360,000 euros MSRP, but I saw a couple for sale already at 300,000 euros. Just new, basically. Oh, what a car! What a driving experience. The turn in is so quick. It's so darty. And the cool thing about this is that it really does feel like a V8 GT3 sometimes, like Porsche. With the whole, I don't know, the suspension that feels like it can take way more than you, and then even if you upgrade the tires to the Cup 2s or the Cup 2Rs, I mean, that should be insane, the level of grip you've got with those 345s. I already think this is incredible with the Michelins, the Pilot Sport 4S's. But the cool thing is that when you sort of turn everything down, go back to tour mode, exhaust valve closes, the suspension goes to comfort mode, automatic is really comfy, and it turns into this super relaxed car, which a GT3 does not. I always feel like a bit of sensory overload in a GT3 because it's loud, it's hard, it's crashy, it's hardcore all of the time, but this kind of relaxes when you want it to, which is cool. So interior wise, I didn't even talk about that. We've got the weirdly shaped steering wheel. Don't like that. It is nice and thin, shape is good, it's just this whole deal is weird, but you hold it and you're like, okay, whatever, I don't care anymore, because it's just good to hold. You've got this climate control bar here, completely separating you from the passenger, which is great. You feel encapsulated into the cockpit. Little screen. I have to say there has been an update for the C8 which gives you like 3 screens. I think this is better because you have physical climate over there, physical volume, you've got your traction control stuff and the lift over there. So yeah, I quite like this layout, and I also think this is like a big FU to all the manufacturers that integrate everything into the touchscreen. I like this better. So I think if you would go carbon wheels, carbon ceramic brakes, and like the handling package, and those Cup 2 tires, I don't know if that's part of a package, because I saw a lot of different options and upgrades and I couldn't really figure out what was available where, in which country, and what the name is. Go for all the performance upgrades, brakes, tires, wheels, and I think you will have something that honestly rivals a Porsche 911 GT3. And that is something I did not think I would say coming from the C7 Corvette. And I think that is, you know, very, very commendable. Making it like this exotic mid-engine supercar or sports car, and actually being able to be compared to a GT3, and you know, they're in the same realm on some parts, and I think that is very, very impressive. So oh, I'm going to do some more of that. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. Check out this video, this playlist, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.